I'm Cynthia James, and this network is about changing lives one woman at a time. Hello and welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and I'm honored that I get to bring to you fabulous women that are change makers in this world. They have found a way to their own power, their own empowerment, and they bring their light and their gifts as a portal to show us what's possible for us. So this is the time for women emerging, I believe, in my heart. And so the women that I share with you are showing you how they found their way to their passion and to their light on this planet. You can come every week. I do a new woman every week. And we're on all the platforms, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Spreaker, Amazon, YouTube video. And so come back every week and meet a fabulous woman. You can also go to cynthiajames.net. There's all of my stuff there and gifts for you, and you can join my community. My guest today is new to me. Her name is Nicole Majik. I love that her last name is Majik. Okay, she has an interesting and extensive background with a bachelor's degree in biology, chemistry, a master's in metaphysics, and experience as a financial advisor. She is accomplished in leadership and empowerment. She's a strategist and educator and has created a highly effective life-transforming empowerment program, the Alchemy of Transformation. She awakens your true potential by erasing limiting beliefs and showing you how to live a life you deserve without compromising who you are or what you love. Nicole, thank you for being here.
Cynthia, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, there's a lot to talk about, but I want to start with how you grew up. Where did you grow up? I'm sure you didn't grow up going, I'm going to be an alchemy professional.
Oh, no. I grew up in a little town in Rhode Island and North Smithfield, and it was a very interesting experience because I had a lot of intuitive gifts and was growing up in a very Christian household. So some of those things weren't really understood in the way in which I could see them. And so I got a little stifled. It was kind of like I was almost the embarrassment of the family. And, I wasn't supposed to say the things that I said or, brought to attention some of the things that I could see because it was not good, even though my entire family was very prophetic. So it was a little confusing that I was the one that was kind of demonized, yet had the same gifts that everybody else did, pretty much.
Yeah, those of us who come on the planet and are highly sensitive and intuitive, it's a slippery slope to try to blend in with your family and also be true to what's inside of you. I come from a line of prophetic dreamers too, but also very ensconced in Christian tradition. And so, I was definitely the the black sheep of the family. So tell me, so you've gone to school. How did you get chemistry, biology, and how did that bridge, to metaphysics?
Great question. Growing up, I'll kind of go early on because some of the things that people don't know about me that have been even following me. When I was a little girl, I always said, "Oh, I want to be a vet," right? Just like a lot of girls. I want to be a veterinarian. And so there was that wanting to help animals and that kind of thing. So I did do a lot of that with the cats that we had, the birds that they went after, and all that stuff. I tried to save all the broken wings, And it evolved into, as I grew up and got into where am I going to go to school? What am I going to be when I grow up, kind of thing. I actually had a real interest in becoming a medical examiner. However,
Ah.
I didn't really have the support in that and didn't really get to pursue it, so to speak, because it was kind of poo-pooed as, oh, that's just a fad. You don't want to do that. And, I was talked out of it because it was just something that was a morbid fad of Nicole's, right?
Yeah.
When in fact, I really wanted to go that route because I could see and hear spirits, and I could see energy and auras and all of that. And because of how I grew up, where I couldn't talk about things, I watched all the energies really of people because I had to be quiet. So I became more of a people watcher and people understander. And so to me, one of my funny things to say that kind of contributed to, oh, that's just a fad was, well, dead people are a lot easier than live people. So instead, I just decided to go for biology and chemistry
Mhm.
because that
Right.
was a lot easier and it was accepted in my family. Oh, you want to go for science, even though, my mom was more on the science side as a nurse, and everybody else in my family was all accounting.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, so I get that you're doing that, and what I want to honor is that part of you that really wanted to honor your family and be accepted by your family. But to get a master's in metaphysics is very different from the Christian tradition.
Yes, I had to do that in my adult time.
And what called you to that?
That came after, let me see, that came after, right after a near death experience.
Ah.
Yeah, I had a near death experience on March 3rd of 2006. That was extremely profound. And I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole if you'd like.
Well, I mean, just I'd love to know what it was because I do want to talk about the work that you do, but what was that moment?
It was there. So I'll sum it up because there are a lot of other podcasts where I talk about that. So if
Mhm,
anybody wants the details on that, maybe they could hop somewhere else. But
mhm,
as an overview of it was, I was extremely postpartum depression that spiraled into more of a depression, was kind of in the space of fantasizing about death constantly,
mhm,
of how I could exit out of this world. But then I had this experience on my way home from work. I was coming home from my chemistry job, and I worked in Cambridge at the time. And I was on my way home later than usual. So I hit all of the rush hour traffic. In that time, there was a car that got hit. And when I looked over at that car that had gotten hit, it was after the impact, and everything had slowed down to a frame by frame slow motion
mhm,
while my mind was racing super fast. So I was taking everything in. I could see even like minuscule lights shining on this woman's hair, and then wondering what happened to this other car. The other car was actually went over the Jersey barriers and was about to land right in my lap.
mhm,
So I saw my death happen where he crunched down on the roof, like his car rolled over, crunched
mhm,
on the roof, snapped my neck, and all that stuff. And I had said my goodbyes to all of my people. It was like was able to sit down and have a conversation with each one, and then said, "Okay, I'm ready."
mhm,
And when I said that, it was a fast forwarding through the tunnel. I actually came back and ended up in my car 2.5 miles away with no cars on the highway. So um, there's a lot more to the story.
Well,
However,
yeah, but I mean, clearly that was a miraculous unfolding because
yeah,
because it wasn't time for you to leave, you
yes.
know. Um, so I guess I want to talk about your work. What is the alchemy of transformation?
So the Alchemy of Transformation is more of the umbrella of all of the pieces of what I do. So it's a full, if you look at the totality of it all, there's a full program that brings people from really defining what it is that they want. So really,
Hmm.
in order to manifest what you want, you've got to know what you want to manifest. So mostly people will look at things and they want things, but that's not really what they want. So I help them
Right.
strip it down to what it is that they truly want, align with their values, and then your values are going to also show what pieces of you are self-sabotaging. And
Hmm.
so I bridge the gaps in there and I help them to erase the limiting beliefs and install new beliefs that actually propel them forward so that they can manifest that. Also, teaching how to manifest because there are many different components to manifestation, and all of those components help you to understand where those gaps are in your life to smooth over and create the life that you deserve. Um, there's
Yeah.
an
So,
experiential aspect to the manifestation that most people don't teach about. So it's kind of like what I do when it comes to manifestation is show people how to tap into it through experiential. Because let's say, Cynthia, if you never experienced love,
mhm.
I can't tell you, oh, just bring up a love vibration and hold
Right.
on to that. You're going to be like,
Right.
huh? I don't know what that is. So I'll help create that. But if I came in and I said, Cynthia, I'm going to show you what love is, and I'm going to have you experience that for the first time, and then
Yes.
you to that place where you experience that, then I could say, now, Cynthia, can you hold on to that for 10 seconds or a half a
Hmm.
minute or an hour? And you'd be able
Right.
to say yes forever, for how long you can,
Well, that's beautiful. So, most of the people that come to you are these people who are already on a spiritual path, or there are recommendations, and sometimes people come in curious but clueless.
I'd say most of the people that come to me have some level of spirituality to them, whether they follow a specific religion or don't associate with a specific religion, but consider themselves spiritual people. I'd say more so, it's not necessarily the spiritual aspect, but people who have begun to do some growth and development work. They know that there's more to life out there for them, but they just keep hitting that wall. And that's because they've done a lot of conscious work, but they need some help really tapping into that subconscious work.
Yeah. And so, if I'm new to you, what's the first thing you tell me?
The first thing that I like to do is just really hone in on what it is that you want. So, whether it's, I'd ask you, what is it that you do want? And then I'd look at how fast do you want to get there? What are the different things that are holding you back? What do you see? How do you see your life? So I want to capture how you're viewing your life first.
Mm,
And I do an assessment that really hones in on the core beliefs. And then I rank them and I do an analysis and that kind of thing in order to show you where these pieces are in your life and how they overlap and then how they also sabotage.
yeah. Well, I love that you do an assessment because, because when clients come to me, sometimes they come because they don't know what they want. They know that something's not working. They know that they've been going on, in a spiral, and but they don't know what they want. And so I love that you do that assessment because especially for left brain people, it really helps them tap into, a deeper understanding of, I've been doing the same pattern and sabotaging myself. And so what do you want?
What do I want?
What do you want?
I love it. I am working on, because what we want changes as we accomplish the different things, right? And I've really started working a lot more with children in a different
Ah,
capacity. So I want to make an impact on the adults to help them make more of an impact on the children. So that has been
ah,
a big um, behind the scenes focus of mine through all the work that I do, because uh, my house is more like the safe house for kids. They come here and they'll pick my brain, and I can see things on them and be like, what's going on? And they confide in me and they open up and they'll talk about what's going on at home, and I help them to kind of navigate out of the negative mindset and really get empowered, and then also see the different side of what's happening too, so that they're in a different place, and that they can ask some questions that also can prompt parents, right? Because
yes,
it's not about like creating the fights and the this and the that. It's getting curious and understanding where people are coming from. Because when we can do that, whether we're children or adults or whatever in between, it's really understanding yourself, and then also understanding other people where they're coming from, because the perception is everything in how we look at the world.
yes. Well, I love that you're saying that, especially based on your childhood. Wouldn't it have been incredible had you been born into a family that got it and wanted to help you thrive? I mean, I think there's a lot of kids on the planet who bring frequency and bring light and are trying to navigate the density of the planet that they have come onto. So I love that you're doing that. And so if a parent comes to you and says, I've got this child that I don't understand, and they're doing this, and this. How do you support the parent in opening up to be able to accept and love that kid?
I focus on the parent.
Mm,
I definitely focus on the parent and using examples with the child. I
mm,
show them how to look at the self and how that's a reflection of them, because even if it's the same or if it's opposite, it doesn't matter. Opposites are still exactly the same, they're just a different degree. And when we look at the things that people bring up in us, any triggers that we have of other people's behaviors, it's all just an alarm system to show us that something isn't aligned within ourselves. So I
right.
show them how to do that. For example, I did have, it wasn't a parent child, but I had a recent client that came to me, and I love working with couples.
Hmm.
If I can work with the couple together, that's awesome. But a lot of times people will come to me one sided.
Right.
And so I look at the whole situation as if the couple is sitting right there together anyway. And, I'll ask some questions. And this particular thing was somebody gets into a mode of work, right? Gets into this mode, focus work, and their attention is off of the partner.
Hmm.
When the attention is off of the partner ruminates thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be abandoned, basically,
Hmm. Right.
if we strip it down to everything, like the underlying reason. And then that begins a fight. And then it just propagates, and then it cycles over and over and over again. So it runs its course, it becomes okay again, and then it starts all over. At some point, that's going to get old, very, very old. So they came to me for that. And when I asked a few questions around like the triggering effect, it was really interesting, because I said, well, knowing that, I do my little analysis in my head. So now it's okay, let's get this aha moment. And when I asked a few questions and then also asked about what might you be able to do differently to disrupt the pattern in that
Mm,
moment,
yeah.
and they immediately went to, oh, what can so and so do? And I'm like, no, no, not so and so, you, because this isn't even about so and so. It's
Right.
not about your partner. This is all about you. Their behavior that triggers you, it's not about their behavior. It's about the trigger, which means the trigger sparks something within the belief that you think and feel something very specific, and then you behave a certain way because of that.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's so important. And I think it's so important the work that you're doing because, there's a lot of mental health stuff going on our planet, especially after COVID. I co-teach a class at a university, and some of the professors have been saying that the people that have come into the classes now are different than the students before COVID. And they're trying to manage their lives and trying to understand where they fit in in all of this. So I guess I want to say to you, what do you want to say to the people out there who are highly sensitive, who have extraordinary gifts that people may not understand? What do you want to say to them?
Okay, so to the people that are the sensitives, really hone in on who you are. And it's not about the people pleasing. So if you're in people pleasing mode, really dig in as to why you feel that everybody else needs to come first, because really it's the flipping that script into recognizing how wonderful and worthy you are, and that other people get to experience wonderful things because of who you are, not because of what you can do for them or how you can bend over backwards or how you can take care of everything. It's because of who you are. So focusing on that is going to shift everything into your favor and the vibe and the tribe that you're looking to really capture. For the people that don't understand the sensitives, it's okay that you don't understand. And it's okay if you have fears around, but maybe just get a little bit curious as to what is going on? What does that person see? What does that person think and feel? Because there's something there for you to understand. You don't have to be converted anywhere. So I say a lot of times, if people will just get curious to understand why someone thinks a certain way, it's because of their programs, their beliefs. It's because of you know different experiences that they've had, maybe even traumas that they've had. So if you understand where somebody is coming from so leave the judgment aside, and without the need to convert somebody over to whatever your thinking is, if the two parties can agree to say, hey, I'm curious to hear why you think this, or why you take this political or religious view, or whatever view it is that you want to know about, and then I'd like to tell you about mine so we can have a conversation about that without trying to convince each other that we're wrong.
Yes, sans the judgment. Yes,
Because that will mean everything. Because when you understand yourself and you understand other people,
absolutely. So, how do people find you and your fabulous work?
people can find me on my main website, which is magicllc.com. My YouTube is Magic LLC Official. I'm on Facebook, Magic LLC. And my marketplace is at NicoleMajik.com.
Well, ladies, I hope you've been listening, because I'm sure many of you can identify with what she said and what she's offering. It's quite beautiful. So, Nicole, I ask people the same last question on this show. This show is called Women Awakening. What do you think is the most important thing about women waking up on the planet in this moment?
Recognizing the immense amount of power and influence and impact that you have when you can step outside of your own judgments of yourself and other people and just open up to being fearlessly authentic.
Fearlessly authentic. Beautiful. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for being here and bringing your magic and your wisdom. And I'm grateful to know you, and I'm grateful that you're doing this work on the planet.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. It was great to meet you and your network here.
Mhm.
Thanks.
So, ladies, I say the same thing in a different way every show. This is the time for us, the feminine, to step forward and bring our light to this planet, to nurture the planet, the animal world, plant world, and our children and our children's children. This is not the time to play small. This is not the time to hide. This is not the time to run. So, with people like Nicole and people who are doing work on this planet, take advantage and step into those spaces that can support you in being the greater yet to be. I'm so grateful and I love being with you, and I'll see you next time.